a recap of the month. Welcome to April. Welcome to an amazing month where we're going to be sharing.
Wait, Maria, wait.
Yep. Welcome, everybody. This is April. Boom. We are going to start this month our live events, and that's why I decided to do this recap on everything that is going to happen live. Yeah. So I want to go over all of the whole thing that we have created. We have more than 40 experts ready for you. And we have designed a special agenda for these times. We know what's going on. I'm not going to say more things about the coronavirus. I want to talk about what we are going to do to stay together, to stay connected, and to add value, to bring value to your tables, wherever you are staying now, dressed in pajama, whatever. Now we're starting a day here. I'm here in Bogota, in Colombia. And you're finalizing your whole day in the Netherlands, you know. We're based in the Netherlands. And we normally host 2 events there, you know, at WeWork. And from now on, we decided, okay, we go live. We have a bunch of content to share with you guys. And we want to do this in a way that gives a structure to your week, you know. So what are we going to do? We're going to host 2 events per week. Every Monday, I'm going to be here with you. And every Thursday, we're going to have a webinar, a workshop, by one of our experts, right? So I want to just give you a little overview of what's coming up next. So we start tomorrow, is Thursday, with how to sell your services in times of coronavirus, with our expert PBS Monday. So what is this about? If you're in services already, if you're doing consultancy, if you're a yoga teacher, if you are a mentor, if you're if you do any type of services, or you're thinking about starting or pivoting in that direction, this is the right event for you. You know, we're going to go through everything that you need to know about getting started and using Facebook ads for this, you know, Facebook ads. So you can promote what you're doing through Facebook, Instagram, or the Facebook platform. Yeah. So I will just say, you will see in the comments the link. So you can RSVP for this event happening tomorrow at from 6 to 7 Dutch time. But of course, wherever you are, you can join us, of course. You know, so every Monday, from today, that we're going to do a little soft landing, we're going to have something called Coffee Breaks with Maria. So coffee break with me, basically. So that is us basically grabbing a coffee, wherever you are, enjoying your time, grab a nice cup, take your favorite coffee, also tea is possible. And you join us and we talk, and I have like an invited, you know, guest, surprise guest from our expert pool. We're going to do a soft landing today, so wait for it. And we're going to do this every Monday. Here we have Nelson. Hey, Nelson. So I'm happy that you're here right now. I want to introduce you to the whole coffee break, soft landing now. And I wanted to give a little overview of the whole events that are going to happen before we start with a really nice Q&A on everything that you know, So let me finish with this. Every Monday, we're going to be grabbing this coffee. Our first guest is Nelson. I will tell you all about Nelson now. And then we have the webinars happening every Thursday, So just to name some of the topics, we're going to have like how to improve your productivity, a toolbox for remote workers. You know, we're working remotely. We have our teams, how to make that work. We also are going to have like a checklist to get your e-commerce business started. So if you have a product, if you have always thinking about how to launch this, and now of course is the best time to sell online, this checklist is perfect. It's by one of the Google marketing experts, also part of our expert pool, Luis Betancourt. And we are also going to, of course, close this month with Nelson's webinar, of course, about energy, about leadership and how to focus your energy. We're going to talk all about it now with Nelson. And I think I'm missing one. I'm missing the one from Masha. That are basically, let me see it here. The one for Masha is about how to basically take advantage of all the digital tools that we have right now. So just not to make you bored and overwhelmed about all these events, we're going to just post it in the comments, like a link to our website where you see the whole overview about all the event calendar that we're going to be hosting now live, and with the corresponding links so you can RSVP as soon as possible. That's for 7 days to go. All of the events, every month we have an expert in the spotlight. This time, of course, is for Nelson, who is here joining us. And the expert in the spotlight always offers a 15-minute free call In this case, since Nelson is a life coach, so 15 minutes free coaching. We're going to paste there, also share the LinkedIn, the Calendly link, so you can book Nelson and ask anything. Not only during this session that we're going to start now, but also afterwards. He's going to be there for you throughout the whole month. Yeah. So with this started, I'm going to do a soft launch now for a coffee break. So how does it work? You need the coffee, you need the break. Yeah. So what do? We grab a really nice cup of coffee, a prepared mind already with a really nice mug. Look at this. Look at this. It's amazing. So I want to just share with you wherever you are. Also, Nelson, please show me your coffee. What you got? What do you got?
Oh yeah, I have actually have coffee from Colombia,
Oh,
but
really?
it's French press. So
Salud.
hey, salud. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Perfect. So if
yeah.
you're like, if you're watching this right now, it would be nice if you just send us some selfie photos with your cup of coffee, like whatever you have right now, whatever you're grabbing, just post it in the comments. It's fun to see that we're all connected around coffee culture and chatting. So
Yeah.
what is the coffee break? Just to introduce, the concept. So what we're going to do is every Monday we're going to sit, from like half an hour, like maximum half an hour, and talk to one, just chat, have an informal chill out chat about the topics that our experts are bringing, our guests are bringing to the table. Yeah. So today, as I said before 10,000 times, we have Nelson. Yeah. So Nelson is a new member of our expert pool. He is from Dominican Republic. He's from New York originally, and now he lives in Amsterdam. And he, as I said, is a life coach, and he has a lot of experience working with entrepreneurs and startups in that sense, in business development and life coaching. Anything else that I should say about you and your ego booster? Tell me,
No,
Nelson, what
no,
else do you want to add to your
you hit
introduction?
it right. Yeah, I do business coaching for new or novice entrepreneurs who are uh, helping them with uncertainty and starting their business. So that's a transition I made 2 years ago. Before that, I was in the tech scene, and I had I was a co-founder in the company Talos Digital, which is a multinational software development agency. And when in my experiences with Talos, we worked a lot with different types of companies at the startup level, even at the large corporate level, and we saw and across many industries in health, in and also in governments and in all these different places. And we got to see all these different challenges that clients would have, um, and a lot of it has to do with, yes, the product development and the cycles of how you approach your work, but really what I was curious about is the mindset and how people approach challenges. Um, Even though they may be the same, we all approach them and perceive them very differently. And so in my coaching work, I do I do a work client with clients, work through a process on how to uh, change your perception to one that works in your favor, to one that aligns you with where you actually want to go.
Great. So Nelson, best person to talk about in these moments of crisis, huh? Things are shaking, things are uncertain right now, and we
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about this because apart from being entrepreneurs and business owners, in the end we're all people, facing a bunch of things right now happening. Like for instance, me, I was supposed to, fly back to the Netherlands. The airport, all the flights are canceled, nobody moves, we're in mandatory quarantine here in Colombia. And then, depending on who you are, you react differently. So let's talk about uncertainty. Let's talk about that, how to deal, how to cope with it in moments that basically everything is out of your hands, that you can just do you, right? So how do you approach that? How do you think about uncertainty and managing uncertainty?
Yeah, with uncertainty, it's a part of life, really, and sometimes we forget that because things may be going a certain way, the way we want them to, uh, and when things are good, you kind of forget uh, that things will happen, um, and they're constantly changing. There's a sense a false sense of control that we tend to carry with us, especially when there's food on the table every day and you have a place to sleep and
Hmm.
everybody around you is safe and healthy. But you know, we're seeing that at any moment things can change, and on our very foundation, the things that we're so familiar with can can be altered. So a loss of a job, a shift in the economy, a loss of a loved one. So all these things are a part of life, and when we tend to we need to remind ourselves of that it's part of the game, and especially now with this,
Well, Nelson.
we're all experiencing this in a very right, all different facets of our life are
Hmm.
are changing. So your living conditions, your habits, and all the things that you're so used to are are being forced to change. And when something as fundamental as that is sort of like it's your reality, when your reality shifts, it can lead you to different sets of emotions, anxiety, stress, and really not just knowing where to hold on to. Um, and one of the most important thing that I attribute to managing things like uncertainty is your self-awareness. What is the awareness of what are your thoughts? How are you showing up to these circumstances? And and sometimes we may not even know, or may not even question how it is that you're responding. So let's say, okay, now this moment with COVID-19, how are you responding to the changes that are occurring around you, and ask yourself, how are you thinking about this? How are you behaving towards
Yeah.
these circumstances? And
Well.
one of the things that I coach, sorry to
Mhm.
interrupt, but one of the things that I coach is revealing how we show up into the different areas in our life, and sometimes we may show up from a low energy, from a low from a position of um, guilt or anger or sadness or some, you know, in responding to a situation. And then in the other sides of the spectrum, you have more higher energies, more, let's say, anabolic energies that inspire, that lean towards creativity, that opportunity. And so right now, it's a matter of, well, yeah, you know, things are happening that are uncomfortable, that are difficult, and it's like, well, where's the opportunity? How could I look at this differently so that I can take the best advantage of this moment?
Yeah.
Because in every crisis there is opportunity for growth, for change, and for discovery of new possibilities.
Well, you have said it all. So basically, we have a big reminder, like as you said, uncertainty is there. The only certain thing is that uncertainty is always there. The thing is
Right.
that we don't see it. Like in our daily life, we just take for granted that we can just grab that coffee and hug that friend and give that kiss and host that event or whatever, you know? And life is just running like an autopilot. And suddenly, like things like this happen, and then you're like, boom, like, wait a moment, this was, things can change. And then depending on your own capacity to adapt to those changes and cope with it, you can take the best, you can see the opportunity instead of feeling overwhelmed. But speaking
Hmm.
about feeling overwhelmed and about the fact that we are human and that we are, yeah, facing this crisis in so many different levels, the first reaction for everybody was like, oh my god, what I'm going to do, all these out of order. So the first thing that happens before you calm down is the anxiety. So I would like to talk about like some tips, or what can you say when it comes about anxiety control, as you mentioned.
Yeah, with anxiety and anxiety, if we define it as a fear of the future, a fear of the potential harm that can come in the future, and that um, yeah, this is a essentially what's happening is focusing on all the things that can go wrong. And the reality is so many things can go wrong, but picture, all right, we all get in cars and we drive somewhere. um, there's not much separating us from a fatal accident. When you look at a road that's divided by two yellow lines, um, there, what's to say that, you know, that for some reason the oncoming traffic will come in your way and head on collision. But we have to trust, and um, that is one way to combat anxiety. But I pointed to, again, is having self-awareness of the, hey, wait a second, I've been feeling like this, I've been having these thoughts, oh,
Mm,
this is anxiety. And the reason why self-awareness is so important, because it's the first step into being able to um, address these emotions, these strings of thoughts, so that you can find the tools, find it within you to create a shift into a more productive mindset, into a more solution-driven mindset. Because the anxiety is thinking of all the problems, it's thinking of all the things that can go wrong, and they can. And one way to do that is to reconcile with it. It's to uh, recognize that yes, it is possible, and uh, however, okay, what's the likelihood? Is it happening now? That's the next step. It's looking at what's happening now. All right, there's crisis all over the world, and the hospitals are filled with, you know, this amazing, yeah, this crisis. And but if you look around you, what's happening? Well, you're in your home, you're on this
mm.
your device looking at a video, and you wake up in your bed, and that begins with awareness, and then it's having that conversation with yourself. Or if you're not, find a resource and find your network, and use it to help you talk things through. And and so the next point is, um, it's being able to reconcile with it, and then find out what can work for you to take you into the right direction.
Great. By the way, I mean, while we're speaking and, talking about this in a really interactive way, I want to also welcome everybody who's watching us now. If you're seeing us now, please feel free to, add more questions in comments, via comments. Yes, we're going to be replying to all of them and checking what you have, or maybe you're struggling with a certain topic, in terms of self-awareness, staying focused, controlling anxiety, all of these topics that we're going to be discussing throughout the month with Nelson. So it's good that you shared your questions and that we can continue talking about this, because it's really interesting to think about how this time invites us to go within, how this time invites us to actually connect
Mhm.
not only to ourselves, but also to stay more connected. I don't know about you, Nelson, but since this is happening, I'm talking to friends and family and people that I never talked before.
Yeah,
People are suddenly looking for that, like, let's have this cyber coffee. And it was my birthday in March and everybody was singing from different countries. And it's so nice and so touching that we're going back to basics in a way and understanding, like a new ways of staying connected, not only in business, but, also in social life.
with your
You know,
friends, your family. Yeah. Yeah,
that's
speaking to
happening.
people you
Yeah.
haven't reached out. Yeah, it's sort of realizing, oh, I'll call that person next week when I have time, or and then that moment never comes, and um, so now you have the time. It's
Yeah.
funny. People usually uh, tend to complain about, oh, I don't have enough time to do these
Yeah.
things, and
Especially in the Netherlands, it's all about busy, 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 busy.
yeah,
So
um,
some cultures are kind of proud of saying how busy they are.
absolutely. Well, it's now you have the time, and so okay, so how could you use it to your advantage? I've actually gotten more work done in the last couple weeks during this lockdown and all, more than I have in a long time. So in
Yeah.
a way, that this is yeah, a good opportunity to focus, to get some things done that I've been putting off. And because the alternative, or the normal, was I had the freedom to fill up my schedule with with a number of things, and they varied. I'm very interested in many things, and spending my time with a lot of people, but it was easy to give that time away. It was easy to allow my impulses to fill up my calendar, and
Yeah.
now it's like boom, calendar is completely clear. What do you want to spend it on? And so it's, again, it's being able to see the opportunity in these situations, in the new normal.
Great. In our case, that we're basically an entrepreneurial community and we're all business owners, it's even more challenging to
Hmm.
understand how to prioritize, like, where to focus your energy. Because we're talking about, okay, you're a remote worker, you just have the schedule, you have the meetings, when all depends on you, when you have to plan your time from A to Z. And in these cases, you can go at whatever time, to bed, wake
Hmm.
up at whatever time, lose that structure that you have in the offline world, then we all, the normal question is like, how to stay focused, like how to make priorities out of what we normally run, but also give room to all of these things that we have been procrastinating, because procrastination is a
Hmm.
classic. So when you say, yeah, I'm so productive now that I'm just home and boom, I have experienced the same, and I know a lot of people, when you pass the moment of being like, oh my god, what is going to happen, and get used to the new situation. There's yeah, for me as a business owner, what is happening is that we got like, boom, let's do these events and let's put everything together, and now we have
Hmm.
this whole life agenda. So that was the outcome of high productivity and engagement, right? But when we go back to the needs of the community, and we see that everybody's looking on how to prioritize, what do you think that is important? Like when you need to choose from all of these things that you could do with your time, including do nothing, yeah? How to
Yeah.
prioritize what to do? What do you think about that?
Yeah, prioritization. Yeah, that's important, because we can easily get caught up with things that may feel good, or may seem interesting, or may have the appearance of important. But when you don't step back and analyze, okay, how am I spending my time? What is the most important thing? If you see this with time management tools and well, prioritization tools. If I can get one thing done today, what is that? And so that's one way to ask, but really the way to answer those questions, it has to come down to why. Wait, and asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I investing my time in this activity, in this moment? Why am I going to this networking event? Why am I having this meeting, this coffee break? And it's just having clarity. It's and try to do it with the least amount of judgment, so that until you understand what it is you're doing. And I say that because you could easily fall into, oh man, this is a waste of time, and that can totally
Mm,
uh, take you to a place you don't need to go.
yeah,
But what I'm trying to get to is having a clear why of what's important to you. Well, if you have a vision, if you have um, long-term and short-term goals, having that clear for you is very important. It's sort of like with companies, businesses. It's important to have a mission statement, because this, and to be able to revisit it and see it and tweak it as time goes on, because this gives you the everything falls under that mission. Everything falls under that guiding message. It's sort of like your North Star when things like uh, when it's hitting the fan and things are in chaos, you need direction. And when you don't have the tools or the familiarity with the things that you're used to having, such as your office and your coworkers, or that steady income from that investment you have, or whatever it is, um, it's important to regroup. And the way that you do that is by having clarity, with where you're headed,
yeah.
and and that can help you prioritize if you do this or that, if you take this course or that course, if you move to this city or that city. So being able, if you take on this task, as number one, or you put it, do something else instead. And having a clear why will help you answer that question and sort through all your activities.
So making it like if you translate that in a day-to-day basis, how does it
Hmm.
work? Because of course it makes complete sense. Everything has to be aligned with your mission, and
Of course.
that's everything. Yeah, the why is basically serving that mission.
Yeah.
um, if you think about what can I do if I wake up every day in the morning, grab my coffee, and I decide how to plan my week or my day, and go through everything that I can potentially do and prioritize, what will be like the exercise that you suggest, to connect with
Um,
that why, like something quick and easy, actionable that we can do.
Having a strong morning routine is key because it gets you out of the thinking mode. And when you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So having a routine that so for me it's I get up, I drink some, I pound some water in the morning, and then I take my dog out for a walk.
Your
Um,
beautiful dog standing there.
yeah, that's the
See
dog. Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. What do you do?
Um,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and so after that, that's when I have my breakfast and my coffee, and I do spend some time journaling, sort of getting my thoughts on paper, just whatever it is, like a brain dump, if you will. And then I get into my tasks for the day. I look at what I was doing yesterday, um, and I look at what needs to be done for the rest of the week, the goals, and then so okay, what do I need to do today that can get me closer to that goal? And identifying and allowing yourself some flexibility to say, oh, let me just put these things down if they weren't on there already.
Yeah.
So if you're doing this consistently, you transfer over what the important things that didn't get done. But
Yeah.
it's asking yourself, if I can do one thing, what is that thing, and how do I ensure that it gets done? Because at the end of the day, if you were busy for the sake of being busy, or you think you're being productive and doing things, it's sort of like you're running, but you feel like you've been running in place, and that's a horrible and frustrating feeling that can you can have at the end of the day. And if you have that enough, that can lead to some uncomfortable state of mind.
So we can say the really good way to stay focused or to start getting focused is,
Hmm.
don't do anything before you do something. Just think about the why, and think about it starting your day or from the moment that you start your week, or like, Sunday evening, you're going to start a new week. What do you want to do? Like, visualize that before doing it. And I think that a good tip for now is, before you open anything, before you access to the digital space where you're going to be more than ever overwhelmed with content. It's amazing how many people are posting things, from
Hmm.
funny gifs, memes, like you name it. Some people optimistic, most people like, oh, really bad things, we're all going to die type of thing, and then you're like, bam, 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 bombarded with all these things. So even
Hmm.
before opening your laptop, even before selected, even with us, before even choosing which event you want to attend from the event calendar that we have, think what is good for me, what will feel great at this moment. And that's your criteria to choose what to do with your time, because the offer is out there more than ever now. You have
Yeah.
like access to all sorts of content, connections, distractions, things that can make you productive. So that should be like the selection criteria kind of before you do anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, if we allow these things to occupy our mind, um, it's the mind, the people that do things like meditation and stuff like that, they always create an analogy of traffic. There's always thoughts happening, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a matter of the quality of those thoughts, the frequency, the intensity of those thoughts, the amounts. Sometimes when we have so many pressing thoughts, it can lead to feelings of being overwhelmed, then which leads to anxiety. So it's like, wait, slow down. When you're in doubt, it's better to slow down, to stop
Yeah.
and think. Um, what if again? What's most important? What needs my attention? And what happens if I don't give it attention? And just having that conversation with yourself really um, can make a difference.
Perfect, Nelson. I think our time is almost up, so I want to wrap it up
Yeah.
with whatever questions you have. Nelson is going to stay connected, replying to questions via comments. If you don't have any questions or you don't want to write it there, because of course, life coaching is really personal as well. So I understand that not everybody's like, I struggle with this or struggle with that. Just feel free to book this coaching session. We have like 15 minutes free call. The link is there. And we're going to close the whole month with, your webinar. So can you introduce a little bit about it? What
Oh
is it
yes,
on the
yes.
30th?
At the end of the month, I believe we said April 30th.
Yeah, on the 30th at 6 p.m. Dutch time.
Yeah. So it's titled how to be a better leader in your business and in life, and we end up discussing what it means to be a leader, what it means to be a good leader, one who operates from a place of optimism, one who operates from a place of opportunity and sees the possibilities for solution, um, and how to get there when you're not, because that will happen, and many times we may act um, from in avoidance of an issue, or because you don't want to confront it because it's too much,
Mm-hmm.
and that can have a cost. Or sometimes we're operating as a leader from a place of, let's say, control and force, and then uh, dominance to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
That can only give you short-term gains. You want to inspire people, and we're going to be discussing how to create a framework around that, and methodologies that I use in coaching that give you that information, that skill.
Great. Well, with that invitation to the webinar and to stay connected to Nelson and check the full event agenda that we have, all the events that we're going to be hosting starting tomorrow with this webinar about how to sell your services online. We just welcome you to April and to a really nice, exciting time all together. Thank you, Nelson, for sharing all of this. I know it's really valuable for these times, and that's why we decided that you're the expert of the month. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. No, it's an honor. I really,
Thank you.
I'm thankful. I'm grateful to be part of it. So,
Thank you.
all you folks, please feel free to reach out and just to have a chat. And I'm here for you. So,
Great.
anyway,
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, everybody. Chin chin, everybody. We'll see you Monday for the next coffee break. Okay? Just check and like us everywhere so you can be updated on the live streams. Okay? Ciao, ciao.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Dui dui. Adios.